1 hour a day is enough. Okay, so let me tell you something that changed how I think about success. You know how everyone's like grind 24/7, no sleep, rise and grind? Yeah, I believe that too until I read this book 1 hour a day is enough. And oh my god, it flipped the game. Because here's the thing, it's not about how long you work, it's about how you learn. What if I told you that just one focused hour a day can make you smarter, wealthier, and more confident than 90% of people who are hustling mindlessly? If you are tired of the burnout, the noise, and the pressure always to do more, stay with me. I'm about to break down how to build the life you want 1 hour at a time. So grab a coffee, open your notebook, and let's get into it. Because what I am about to share might be the thing that finally permits you to slow down and level up. Ready? The power of deliberate learning. Okay, so let me tell you something real. A couple of years ago, I thought I had to work non-stop if I ever wanted to succeed. Like no sleep, hustle culture, 12-hour work days, always on. You know the vibe, right? Rise and grind everywhere, and I fell for it hard. But then I completely burned out. I was doing everything, editing videos, replying to emails at midnight, trying to learn 5 things at once, and nothing moved forward. I wasn't getting smarter, I wasn't growing, just tired. And then I found this concept that flipped everything for me. It's called deliberate learning, and it comes from this amazing book called 1 hour a day is enough. And guys, let me tell you, it changed everything. So here's the thing, most people spend hours working but almost zero time learning, like actual focused intentional learning, not just scrolling through Instagram reels or half watching a TED talk while cooking ramen. I'm talking about sitting down for 1 hour a day and training your mind. And guess what? That 1 hour, it compounds like crazy. Let me break it down. Deliberate learning is when you learn with intention. It's not random, it's not background noise, it's focused. You pick something specific, a skill, a topic, an idea, and you go deep. You take notes, you reflect, you apply what you learn in real life. It's like going to the gym, but for your brain, one focused hour a day, and you become dangerous in the best way. And I know someone's thinking, 1 hour a day, that's it. How can that even make a difference? But let me tell you something crazy. If you do 1 hour a day, that's 365 hours a year. That's like reading 30 plus books, learning 2 new skills, or becoming a total expert at one thing people pay big money for. And while everyone else is out there hustling mindlessly, you are leveling up quietly, secretly, strategically. It's giving the main character energy. I started doing this with digital storytelling. Just 1 hour a day reading, taking notes, analyzing viral videos, starting scripts like this one. No pressure to perform, no pressure to post, just me and my notebook. And guess what happened after a few months? My videos got sharper, my hooks got stronger, my ideas just clicked faster because my brain was getting rips in like real rips, not just doing, learning, and evolving. There's this one quote for the book that I wrote on a sticky note and stuck on my mirror. It says, if you're too busy to learn, you are too busy to grow. Boom. Let that sink in. Because most of us think working all day is the flex, but the real flex, knowing something others don't, thinking deeper, creating smarter, learner faster, and that comes from giving yourself one intentional hour every single day. Oh, and don't confuse this with cramming. Deliberate learning is the opposite of cramming. It's slow, focused, peaceful, even. It's you saying, I'm not rushing, I'm building something real. You are not binge watching tutorials you will never apply. You are choosing quality over quantity. One good idea, one clear insight, one powerful lesson, that's it. And here's the best part, you don't even have no start big. When I started, I was doing 30 minutes, just 30 minutes of deep learning. Phone on airplane mode, music slow, no distractions. I would read a chapter, watch one case study, or even just journal a lesson I learned that week. And then little by little, that 30 became 45, then 60. Now it's the favorite part of my day. It's like my brain's spa hour. So, yeah, you don't need 10 hours, you don't need expensive coaches or fancy tools. You just need you, your curiosity, and a commitment to protect that 1 hour. Because when you show up consistently, you will start seeing connections nobody else sees. You will start speaking differently, thinking differently, moving differently. And then that's when the real glow up starts. So now every time I feel stuck, overwhelmed, or unsure of what to do next, I don't work anymore. I learn smarter because I know one thing for sure, 1 hour a day is enough. 5 hour rule, a success pattern of legends. Okay, so I'm gonna let you in on this secret that no one talks about, and once I figured this out, it honestly changed my entire mindset. You ready? It's called the 5 hour rule, and it's not some random productivity hack. It's a success pattern of legends. I'm talking about people like Elon Musk, Oprah, Bill Gates, Malala, and even Beyonce. Not seriously, they all follow this principle even if they don't always say it out loud. And when I learned about it from the book 1 hour a day is enough, guys, I was shook. So here's what it is. Plain and simple. You set aside 1 hour a day, 5 days a week purely for learning. That's it. Not working, not grinding, not performing, just learning. It sounds simple, right? But it's what separates high achievers from the always busy, never growing crowd. Let me tell you what that looked like in my own life. So, back when I was trying to build my brand online, I was doing everything, posting every day, editing all night, watching YouTube tutorials at 2 a.m., like how to grow fast on Instagram in 2024. I thought I was putting in the work, but I was just running in circles. Then I came across this part in the book that slapped me in the face. Lovingly, of course. Working more doesn't make you better, learning more does. Like, okay, why did that read me like a book? That's when I discovered the 5 hour rule. Here's the crazy part, this rule is so simple, but people ignore it because it doesn't feel productive. It's slow, it's quiet, it's invisible, but it's powerful. Let me break it down. You block out 1 hour per weekday, just 1 hour, for high quality deliberate learning. That's 5 hours a week, and over a year, that's 260 hours of pure, focused brain gains. Imagine spending 260 hours learning one thing you love design, marketing, psychology, coding, storytelling. You'd be dangerous in the best way possible. Think about it. Elon Musk learned rocket science, just by reading books and asking questions. Oprah reads every day and credits book for shaping her life and career. Bill Gates' blog of entire reading weeks where he just deep dives into ideas. These aren't people who got lucky, they are people who learned on purpose. And you know what I realized? They don't just work, they upgrade. They constantly level up their minds while the rest of us are burning out trying to catch up. So I tried it. I made a rule for myself Monday to Friday, 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. No phone, no emails, just learning. Some days I read, some days I journal, some days I watch a masterclass or study how a viral video was structured. And within 3 months, my content quality improved. I spoke with more clarity and confidence. I started getting noticed not because I was louder, but because I was sharper. Here's what makes the 5 hour rule different from the binge working YouTube tutorials. It's intentional. You don't just consume, you process, you apply, and you reflect. You are not learning just to know something, you are learning to become someone. Big difference. And let's be real, we waste way more than 5 hours a week doing random stuff. Scrolling TikTok, rewatching the same shows, falling into YouTube rabbit holes that start with how to get rich and end with penguin facts you didn't know you needed. So imagine if just 5 of those hours went into building your mind. Imagine how differently you would be by next year. That's not a dream, that's math. Now, here's a part that no one tells you. The 5 hour rule doesn't feel like it's working right away. It's slow, it's boring sometimes, but it's planting seeds. And one day you'll wake up and realize you are more confident in conversations, you are solving problems faster, your brain's connecting dots no one else sees. That's when you realize you are becoming legendary, just like the ones you admire. So, yeah, you don't need to hustle 24 by 7, you don't need to do 100 things at once, you just need to give yourself one golden hour a day, 5 days a week to grow, to learn, to evolve. There's a 5 hour rule, and honestly, that's how you win the long game. Learning versus working, the trap. Okay, can I be brutally honest for a second? There's this trap I fell into, and I know I'm not the only one. It's a working hard trap. And no, I'm not saying don't work hard. I'm saying I used to work like a maniac and still felt stuck. Busy all the time, exhausted, and not better, not smarter, not close to where I wanted to be. And then I read this part in the book, 1 hour a day is enough, that exposed me. It said, most people spend their whole life working hard but never stop to learn how to work smart. And I was like, that's me. Let me paint the picture. I was waking up early, writing content, editing videos, replying to DMs, learning to code, trying to start a side hustle, be consistent on socials, stay fit, eat clean, meditate, manifest, and sleep sometimes. And still, it felt like nothing was working. Why? Because I was doing, not learning. I was stuck in execution mode. You know what I mean? Always doing the next thing but never stepping back to ask, is this even the right way thing? The book calls this out perfectly. It says, working without learning is like running on a treadmill. You are moving, but you are not going anywhere. Let that sit for a second. Like, we are being busy like a badge of honor. But the truth, busy doesn't equal progress. Being overwhelmed doesn't mean you are doing meaningful work. It might just mean you are doing what's comfortable. And here's the trap most of us fall into. We think we are being productive because we are checking tasks off our list. But we are not upgrading we are just repeating what we already know how to do. Same strategies, same mistakes, same mindset. And if you are not learning, you are not leveling up. Period. So here's what I started doing, and yes, it felt weird at first. I cut back my work hours and added learning hours instead. That means 1 hour a day where I don't read, I consume intentionally, read, study, take notes, reflect, think, no posting, no editing, no performing, just learning. And girl, when I tell you my productivity didn't drop, it exploded. I'm not even exaggerating because now, instead of guessing what works, I know what works. I'm not hustling blindly, I'm applying tested principles. I'm focused, sharper, more strategic. Here's a metaphor from the book that stuck with me. Imagine two people chopping wood. One just keeps swinging the axe all day, no breaks. The other sharpens the axe for 1 hour a day. Guess who chops more wood by the end of the week? The second one, every time. Because they stop to improve the tool instead of just exhausting themselves using it. And guess what? You are the tool. Your mind is the axe. And so, when's the last time you sharpened it? And let's be real, learning isn't always sexy, it's not fast, it's not flashy. You don't get dopamine hits like you do from TikTok likes or email replies. But it's a long term play. It's what separates people who burn out from the ones who break through. I started applying this to every area of my life. Instead of filming 10 videos a week, I now film 4, but they are 10 times better. Why? Because I'm studying hooks, I'm learning storytelling, I'm analyzing what keeps people watching. I'm not just working harder, I'm working smarter. And let me just say this, 1 hour of learning can save you 10 hours of doing every single time. So, if you are feeling stuck, if you are overwhelmed, if you feel like you are doing everything right but nothing is clicking, take a breath, pause the hustle, and ask yourself, when was the last time I learned something new? Not just heard it on a podcast, not just saved it to a Pinterest board, but sat down, studied it, understood it, and changed because of it. Because that's where growth happens. Working hard isn't bad, but if you are always working and never learning, you are not building your future. You are just running in place. And there's a trap. But the good news, you can step out of it today. 1 hour at a time, one lesson at a time, one choice to learn instead of just doing. Make learning a system, not a goal. Okay, so let's just get this out there. I used to be obsessed with goals. Like, seriously, vision boards, post it notes, 30-day challenges, read 52 books in a year type of girl. I thought goals were the vibe. Don't get me wrong, they are helpful. But I kept running into this same cycle. Set a big goal, get super hyped, start strong, burn out, abandon it, feel like a failure, repeat. Sounds similar? And then I read this chapter in 1 hour a day is enough, and it was called me out. It said learning should not be a goal, it should be a system. And I was like, wait, what does that even mean? So here's the thing, a goal is like saying I want to read 50 books this year. A system is saying I read 30 minutes every morning after breakfast. See the difference? One is a result, the other is a process. And that was the moment I realized why I kept failing. I was treating learning like a finish line, but the truth is there is no finish line. There's only the next level version of it. Here's the real story. I had this big goal last year. I wanted to master digital marketing, whatever that means, right? I made a whole list of online courses, books, podcasts, certifications. I even signed up for like 3 at once. Spoiler, I finished none of them. Why? Because I didn't have a system. I just had a goal and vibes. No structure, no rhythm, no routine. And when life got busy, which it always does, that goal went straight to the bottom of my to-do list. Now here's what the book teaches, and this part stuck with me. Systems survive when motivation doesn't. Because let's be real, motivation is a mood. Some days you wake up ready to take over the world, other days you just want iced coffee and TikTok. So instead of waiting to feel inspired, I built a learning system. Nothing fancy, no complicated planner, just this. Every weekday 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. learning hour. Non-negotiable. Phone on airplane mode, calendar blocked, learning like it's my job. Some days I read, some days I take notes on a YouTube masterclass, some days I reflect and write down what I learned the week before. It's chill, it's flexible, but it's consistent. And guess what? I have learned way more in the last 3 months using this system than I did in the entire year of chasing goals that went nowhere. Because systems create momentum, and momentum, motivation every time. Let me break it down even more. Think of goals like a destination. I want to go to Paris, cool. But do you have a passport, a ticket, a plan, a suitcase? That's your system. Without it, the dream just sits on your Pinterest board. Same with learning. Saying, I want to be smarter means nothing if you don't schedule it, structure it, protect it like it's sacred. Because it is another gem from the book. If you win the system, you will win the result. Even if the goal changes, like when if I switch from learning marketing to storytelling or psychology next month, I still have the habit of learning every morning. The habit doesn't go away, it grows with me. It's giving sustainable success. And let's talk about how this helps with burnout too. When learning is a goal, you are always chasing, you are always measuring, did I finish the course? Am I behind? Why am I not an expert yet? But when learning is a system, you trust the process. You focus on showing up, not being perfect. You celebrate progress, not pressure. And that's such a healthier, happier way to grow. Here's a little real life moment. A few weeks ago, I almost skipped my learning hour. I had a million things to do. But I was like, no, this is a system, this is my age. So I sat down, opened a book, and one tiny idea I read that day, it helped me solve a problem I would been stuck on for weeks. There's a thing about systems. They don't always give instant results, but they give compound results. One idea here, one mindset shift there, and suddenly you are operating at a level most people never reach because they never stayed consistent long enough to get there. So, yeah, set goals if you want, but if you want to become that version of you that's unstoppable, make learning a system, block the time, build the habit, trust the process, and watch who you become. Action learning, learn, then do. Okay, so real talk. I used to be a learning hoarder, like I was obsessed with learning. I had a whole Google Drive full of free ebooks, saved hundreds of YouTube tutorials, subscribed to every 10 times your mindset podcast I could find every morning. I would start with, let me just watch one video, and suddenly it's 1 p.m. and I have done nothing but vibe with motivational quotes and aesthetic productivity TikToks. Yeah, that was me. And then I read this chapter in 1 hour a day is enough. That was like a slap, but in a good way. It said, learning without action is just procrastination in disguise. Like, excuse me? Why did that line expose my entire life? So here's what the next book calls Action Learning. And listen, this is where everything flipped for me. It's the idea that you don't just learn for the sake of knowing, you learn so you can do something with it right after. Not someday, not when you feel ready, but right after you finish learning. Learn, do, reflect, repeat. That's the formula. And it's so different from how most of us treat learning. Let me give you an example from my own life. I was trying to improve my content game, get better at storytelling, hook writing, all that. So I took this 1 hour masterclass about building high retention YouTube intros. It was amazing. I took pages of notes. Old me would have been like, cool, I'll try that next week. Then get busy, overthink, and never try it. But action learning me, I opened my script draft right after and applied the exact hook framework I just learned. No overthinking, no perfectionism, just try it immediately. And guess what? That video did 3 times better than my average views. Not because I was smarter, not because I was suddenly had a big audience, but because I learned something and then used it. Here's what I realized, we don't need more information, we need more implementation. We spend so much time chasing the perfect course, the right mentor, the best book, but honestly, the best teacher is doing the thing. That's when the lessons stick. That's when the confusion clears. That's when the real learning happens. The book says it perfectly. The most powerful form of learning is feedback from action. When you act on what you learn, even if it's messy, even if it flops, you grow. Because now you are not just thinking about it, you are experiencing it. That's what separates high performers from content consumers. They don't just watch videos, they build after watching, they write after reading, they launch even when it's not perfect. And I get it. taking action is scary. You might be thinking, what if I mess up? What if it's not good enough? What if I fail? But sis, let me tell you something that gave me so much peace. Messy action, perfect delay. Every time, because imperfect action still moves you forward. Overthinking keeps you in the same spot, just exhausted. Here's a challenge I gave myself, and now I give it to you. Every time I learn something, I ask, how can I use this today? Even if it's just 1%, even if it's tiny. If I read a book on mindset, I apply one mindset shift in my daily routine. If I study storytelling, I change one line in my script. If I learn a new productivity hack, I test it during my next work sprint. No waiting, no stalling, just try it. And here's what happens when you start living this way. You will stop feeling overwhelmed, you will start making real progress, not just feeling busy. You learn faster because you are applying it in a real world context. And honestly, you feel like a total boss. Because now you are not just soaking in inspiration, you are creating results. It's not about learning more, it's about doing more with what you already know. You don't need another course, you need to act on what you have already learned. Taste it, build it, fail with it, win with it. Either way, you grow, and that's the whole point. So, yeah, learning is powerful, but learning paired with action, that's transformation. Don't just take notes, open the laptop and build something. Record that video, start the blog, teach it to someone else. Because the fastest way to become the version of you dream about. It is to do what she would do. Right now, not someday, not later. Not when it's perfect. Learn, then do. There's a real glow up formula. Compounding over time, the hidden superpower. So, let me tell you a secret, something that literally changed the way I look at progress, success, and growth. It's called compounding, I know. I know sounds like a fancy term, right? Like something you'd hear in a boring economics class, but hear me out. Because this is a superpower most people ignore. Let me paint you a picture. A month ago, I decided to learn copywriting. Nothing fancy, just 1 hour a day. That's it. No crazy 12-hour hustle, no all-nighters, just 1 hour. And honestly, at first it felt useless. I would watch a video or read a chapter and be like, okay, cool, but I'm still not a pro. And that's where most people stop because we are addicted to instant results. We want the glow up in a week, we want the six pack after 5 gym sessions, but compounding, oh, it doesn't work that way. See, compounding is like planting a seed. For days, maybe even weeks, it looks like nothing happens, but underground, growth is exploding. Roots are getting stronger, deeper. Then one day, boom, a little green sprout. That's what is happened with me. By week 3, I was writing better headlines. By week 5, I wrote a cold email that landed a client. And by week 8, I had enough confidence to start freelancing on the side. That's compounding. It's not about what you gain today, it's about what those little wins build into over time. Let me throw you a crazy stat. If you improve just 1% a day, 1% for a year, you'll be 37 times better by the end of the year. Not 37%, 37 times. Like new level unlocked. Who is she vibes? There's some math behind compounding. But the real magic, it's emotional. Because with every micro win, your identity shifts. You stop saying, I am trying to learn, and you start saying, I'm a learner. You stop thinking, I'm stuck, and you start realizing, I'm evolving. But here's the catch, compounding works both ways. Not doing that 1 hour today, no big deal, right? But skip a few more and boom, reverse compounding. You are not just growing, you are quietly drifting backward. So the choice? It's always yours. 1 hour of Netflix or 1 hour of learning that rebuilds your dream life brick by brick. And it doesn't have to be perfect. You don't need some 4-hour study block with lo-fi music and Pinterest level vibes. Just one focused intentional hour daily. Because over time, that hour isn't just an hour. It's your advantage. It's your future self whispering, "Thank you for not giving up." And one day you will look back and realize you didn't just grow, you compounded into someone extraordinary. How to start today? 3 simple tips. Okay, real talk. Have you ever had one of those days where you are just like, ugh, I'll start tomorrow? Yeah, that was me. Every single week. Until I realized something kinda painful. Tomorrow is just today in disguise. And I kept falling for it. So if you are stuck in that planning mode or waiting for the perfect day or you think you need some crazy motivation before you begin, this is for you because in the book, 1 hour a day is enough. There's this beautiful reminder you don't need to overhaul your life, you just need to start small, imperfect, but today. Let me share 3 simple things I used to start. Not next week, not next month, but today. Tip 1, start ugly. Yup, I said it, start ugly. Forget perfection. Perfection is a scam that keeps you stuck. When I first started learning graphics design, I spent days obsessing over the right tools, fonts, color. Guess how many designs I made? Zero. Then one night I just opened Canva on my phone in bed, messy bun, crusty screen, and I made the ugliest little Instagram post ever. But you know what? I started, and that post turned into 50 more. Ugly work is still progress, and honestly, done is a way better than perfect. So if you are waiting until you feel ready, don't just start messy. Start badly, start real. Tip 2, the 1 hour power window. This changed everything for me. Instead of blocking out my whole day, I picked one golden hour. That's it. 1 hour where I would turn off distractions and go all in. No multitasking, no checking DMs, no pretending to be productive by organizing my desktop for 6 times. Just one focused hour. Here's the best part. When you know it's only 60 minutes, you don't feel overwhelmed. It feels doable. You trick your brain into actually showing up. My power window is usually 8 to 9 am. Yours might be after dinner, doesn't matter. What matters is that you honor it like an appointment with your future self. 1 hour every day, and yeah, that's enough. Tip 3, stack it on what you already do. Okay, let's be honest. We are creatures of habit. We brush our teeth, check our phones, scroll TikTok in bed. Like clockwork, right? So instead of forcing a brand new routine, just stack your new habit onto something you already do. For example, I started writing right after my morning coffee. Not before, not hours later, literally after the last sip. The coup made it automatic. The coffee was my trigger, and my brain was like, okay, girl, let's get to it. You can do the same. Want to read more? Do it after lunch. Want to stretch? Do it before you shower. Simple habit stacking equal to less resistance, more consistency. Now listen, I know starting is scary. I know it feels like you are behind, but you are not. You are just at the beginning of your story. And here's a plot twist. You don't need a new year. You don't need a new month. You just need 1 hour and the decision to start today. No perfect plan, no fancy setup. Just start ugly, block one power hour, stack it on what you already do. That's it. Before you know it, you will look back and realize starting was the hardest part, but you did it and it changed everything. So, yeah, that's it. That's the secret. Not a 5-year plan, not an all nighter, not a hustle culture Pinterest board. Just 1 hour every day. One intentional hour where you learn, grow, and move with purpose. And guess what? That's enough. That's how it starts. That's how it compounds. That's how you win. And hey, start today. Today. Watch less, learn more. I'll be back with more bite sized mindset shifts from books that matter. But for now, close this video and spend your hour wisely. Love you guys. Let's grow together.